Hey, what's up guys? I hope everyone is having a great day and welcome to another Cars 3 diecast review. Today, I'll be reviewing the Next Generation Piston Cup Racer Nitroade. This guy looks absolutely amazing, so I cannot wait to get into the review of him. But first, we gotta talk about last week's poll and the new poll as well. So Nitroade received nearly 1,200 votes, which was 84% of the people who voted. So thank you very much for voting. I really do appreciate it. It was pretty clear that a lot of you guys want me to review Nitroade, so I hope you enjoy this video. As for my review next Saturday, here are the poll options. Up first, we have Smokey, who I think will probably win. All the other cars that he has been behind are now all reviewed, so it's most likely that he will win. However, maybe you guys will vote for Bobby Swift, aka Octane Game number 19 now, because you saw him in the most recent Cars 3 trailer. Yep, he was right there racing alongside Lightning McQueen and Dynaco, which was Cal Weathers. Remember that scene? Yeah, it looks kind of familiar now. Up next, we have a non-racer, actually a reporter most likely, Natalie Certain. And then the last two are racers, Bumper Save number 90 and Four Wheel Drive number 54. Both are stock cars. The only two or three, I guess you could say, next generation racers we've gotten so far in terms of diecast are Nitroade, Jackson Storm, and the Dynaco version of Cruz Ramirez. So I'll compare these guys a little bit more later on in the video. But now, let's just get right into a review of the Next Generation Nitroade Racer. So currently, he does not have an actual name. He may never be named, or it may take a very long time for him to be named. I mean, he could just be a background Piston Cup racer that never speaks. That was the case for most of the racers in Cars 1, so I'm thinking that that's probably the case for him as well. However, theoretically, he could be Chase Racelot, Danny Swervez, Bubba Wheelhouse, or Ryan Laney. And now those are all names that were announced in an article released last week by NASCAR. So if you guys don't know, Disney, Pixar, and NASCAR had this huge collaboration with the Daytona 500 because, of course, they released that sneak peek last week during the Daytona 500, and of course, it dropped on YouTube as well. But that is besides the point. We're talking about all these names that NASCAR and Disney and Pixar, they dropped in these articles, and it's just awesome. All of them, all of these new characters are based on real life people that are figures in the NASCAR world. So take Chase Elliott for example. He's going to be voicing a new character that's a racer in Cars 3 named Chase Racelot. So we don't know what those characters look like Danny Swervez and the other ones that I mentioned, but since we have an unnamed racer here, we have some random names floating around. You guys can kind of see where I'm going with this. You know, this Nitroade racer could be one of them, and it's very likely, although it may not be. And so it's just kind of a topic that I might talk about in a speculation video, but now that is all I'm going to talk about in the diecast review. It's definitely something cool to think about. Now moving on to his appearance in the movie, you know, I'm just following my typical format for my reviews. We don't know where he'll appear besides the Piston Cup races. I don't know if he'll be in all of the races, probably not. He'll definitely be in at least one, most likely a couple. And now just so you guys know, we did see the stock car version of Nitroade in the Piston Cup race in the trailer that was released last week. And now this leads me into a whole nother topic that I'll talk about in a second. But basically, there are two versions of a lot of the sponsors in Cars 3. So take Nitroade for example. There's going to be a next generation racer that looks super advanced, super high tech, with a pretty big spoiler in the back. That's the indicator, at least for me. They got the spoiler in the back, and then there's the stock car that looks, you know, like your normal racer. So I'll talk about that in a second, but just so you guys know, don't get that confused with this guy, because as I'm showing on the screen right now, there was a Nitroade racer in the recent sneak peek, but that is most definitely not this character. Don't think that that character gets a huge upgrade. No. They are completely different characters. You have your normal stock car side of things over here, and you have your next generation side of things over here. So that's pretty much the basics of it. I do want to make a speculation video on it, just kind of explaining how it'll work in the movie because it's very complicated. I mean, I don't even know myself. It's really confusing when you see, let's take the Nitroade for example here, racing in the Cars 3 trailer. Now this is not the actual one, this is from Cars 1, so we'll do that whole comparison in a moment here. I know it's getting really complicated, but just take this guy. We'll just kind of block out some things. And you see him racing along. You're like, oh, cool, Nitroade is back. And then you see me reviewing this hyped up, advanced, next-gen racer for the same company, Nitroade as well. So that's where the confusion really comes in with this topic. So I do want to talk about that. Let me know your theories on the whole thing in the comment section below because as of right now, we really have no idea for sure on really any like solid evidence. Like, yeah, this is exactly what's going to happen. No, you know, Disney and Pixar, they've really left us in the dark. A lot of these trailers just show racing. So it's like, cool. That makes me excited and hyped for the movie, but I don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, I know that McQueen crashes. He has to go up against Jackson Storm. Is he going to win? I don't know. He's going to get trained by Cruz Ramirez, and that's pretty much it. So, yeah, it's pretty vague so far. Hopefully, we learn a little bit more throughout the next couple months leading up to the release of Cars 3. But if not, that's completely cool, and it just makes the movie more fun to watch because, you know, you're not expecting as many things as you would if you saw a bunch of things ahead of time. So, I think we should move on to his release now in the diecast line. So I don't really know how he's going to be released. He may be a single, which is likely. And now there's actually a 2-pack listed with Jackson Storm and a Next Gen Racer. That's literally all it says, Next Gen Racer. So theoretically, it could be this guy right here. I could definitely see these guys chilling in a 2-pack. They look pretty sweet next to each other because even though they're actually very similar, they are different models, and we will compare them. A lot of comparisons going on in this video because now we gotta go all the way back to Cars 1 to compare along with some of these other Cars 3 ones as well. So as for where I got this guy from, it's a very popular question. I still get asked even though I say it every time in every video, and it says in the description, but oh well. I got this from a seller that was called snapdragontoyz. They then changed their name to seeemilyplaytoys. I don't know why, but they don't actually sell any Cars 3 cars anymore, which is probably because Mattel caught them and was like, nope, you cannot sell any of this stuff before May 1st, because of course, May 1st is the official release date for all Cars 3 diecast. Now you might walk into a store and see a Cars 3 bike. That doesn't count, that's simply Cars 3 merchandise. The diecast, these right here, they cannot be out until May 1st. Now some people might break the rules like snapdragontoyz, but Mattel is likely to shut them down unless it's like a small little store hidden somewhere. Like I actually found the Cars 2 cars before they were actually released in a small store in New Orleans in Jackson Square. You guys may have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's the truth. And maybe I'll talk about that in a future video, but whatever. That's pretty much the deal, guys, so I'm sorry, but if you want this Nitroade racer, you cannot buy him at the moment. There is no place that currently sells him. Now, maybe in the future, another seller might whip up the confidence to take Mattel head on and sell some of these Cars 3 cars on eBay, but I'd say that they'd be taken down quite quickly. So if you do see this racer or any other Cars 3 diecast on eBay, I'd buy it pretty much in that same exact minute that you see it because, yeah, Mattel is probably going to be prowling eBay, making sure that no one violates the May 1st rule, but you never know. Maybe I don't know. I really have no idea. It might be taken down the minute it's even uploaded to eBay. Or maybe Mattel won't catch it. I don't know, but just be aware of what's going on. I was fortunate enough to buy a bunch of Cars 3 diecast before snapdragontoyz, aka seeemilyplaytoys, was caught. By the way, a lot of you guys told me that the name is actually pronounced seeemilyplaytoys, and that makes a lot of sense. So thank you guys for telling me about that. I didn't really see it that way. I was like, that's a really, really weird name. I guess it's seemily. So yeah, thanks for letting me know about that. And now let's just, get into the nitty-gritty details of this Nitroade racer. He's got a brand new Nitroade logo there on the hood. So just to preface this guy is from Cars 1. Alright, he appeared in Cars 1. He didn't speak, but he was one of the first ever Piston Cup racers to be released besides the King Chick Hicks and Lightning McQueen all the way back in 2006. So this guy is old. He did appear in the movie. You can see how the logos have evolved. Now, like I said, there's a similar car to this guy right here that appeared in the trailer. And I don't really know what he's going to look like in totality, like from the front and everything. But those I should say, the Nitroade racer in the trailer and this guy definitely seem to be more similar than this guy and the Next Generation Nitroade racer. So again, really complicated topic that I should talk about in a separate video, but let's just admire the cool logo. It has Nitroade there with the flaming O. I like it. I really like this bronze color too. It's kind of like a matte finish. It's super nice. It's like really shiny. I love it. So it just is awesome. It's like copper, really sweet there. And there's definitely a new color scheme, a lot more orange and a lot less black. In fact, there's pretty much no black anymore. It's like brown and orange, so that's pretty cool. Of course, his number is still 28, so that's pretty interesting there. We got the flame logo. Here are his secondary sponsors, the Piston Cup, Combustor, who is this guy right here, Carbon Cyber, and Synergy. Those are actually new racers. There is his exhaust pipe. Just an FYI, guys, the stock cars that, we have the stock car side of things, Next Generation side of things. The stock cars have these sponsors, Vitaline, Revolting, RPM, Nitroade, kind of ironic there, Octane Gain, and Clutchade, along with the Piston Cup, of course, whereas the Next Generation versions, or racers, I should say, have definitely a lot less sponsors, and they are different, besides the Piston Cup. Now, he does actually have Lightyear tires, but they are so thin, the text is impossible to read on camera. But if you do have this guy in person or get him eventually, you will be able to see that it does say Lightyear right there. It's definitely a lot easier to see on the stock cars, but that's just the way it is on all these next-gen racers. They have these really thin, kind of like wire band tires. On the back, we have 28 over there on the left. We have another Nitroade logo there on the right. Here's the base if you're interested. Nothing too much. His spoiler has the Nitroade logo on it, which looks awesome. I just can't get over how different these guys are. They're just so drastically different. I love it. It makes a lot of sense for the general evolution of the companies. I mean, it's a real thing that companies change their brandings every so often. Example, Walmart. Example, Google. So yes, indeed, it's a very real thing. I'm glad that Disney and Pixar are implementing that aspect into the Cars movie with the Piston Cup sponsors. I think it's great. So A+ on that Disney Pixar. So let's talk about his expression. He kind of looks really, really scary. I mean, he's not like scary, but he looks mean. I mean, he has like that flat eyebrow going across there. Like he is, he doesn't want to mess around. He's in it for the win. He doesn't want anything else. Whereas like Hank Weathers is just like, I'm here for a good time. I don't really care if I win or lose. But this guy and a lot of the other Next Generation racers will probably kind of have this mean expression on them. They could be like the overall like cynical cars of the movie. Like these guys, I mean, look at them. They look mean and scary. But if you look at the stock cars, look how happy they are. Look at them all. They're like, yeah, I'm happy. How about you? Like, look at that. So they're definitely playing up the stock cars. Like making them seem like they're the underdogs of the movie and you want them to win. You're supposed to root for them and not the guy with the frowny face on, although he looks super cool. But yeah, that's just kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Now let's compare him to Jackson Storm. They are different models like I mentioned earlier, but they do have some similarities as well. Jackson does seem to be a little bit longer. They look to be the same in width and height. Super sleek, super awesome. Seems like even though these guys, the next generation cars, will be, you know, the villains, I guess, especially Jackson Storm, they will look awesome. I mean, these guys definitely look really, really cool. Especially Nitroade, because you can just see how much the whole brand has changed over 11 years. And I guess we could show Cruz Ramirez. She's different, you know, even though she's a next generation racer with those sponsors there on the bottom, you know, the ones that he has. She's a good guy, good girl. So I do want to do a couple Cars 3 speculation videos on some topics in relation to the Piston Cup, because it's definitely, you know, getting pretty intense, and you know, we're only like several months away. What is it, like March? It's early March, comes out June 16th, so we have March, April, May, and then so like 3.5 months. So it'll fly by, guys. I know it will. I don't really want it to fly by because it's nice to enjoy this time where we get to speculate and guess about things, because after Cars 3, it could be the last movie ever in that franchise, which is kind of sad, but I hope they're going to do a Pirates of the Caribbean thing where they actually go on for 5, or Toy Story like they're going on for 4. By the way, the new Pirates of the Caribbean movies look, or the trailers I should say, look awesome. So that's pretty much all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. As you can see in the background there, I have Team Nitroade, all the stuff that Mattel released for Team Nitroade back in 2010 and earlier. You know, Nitroade has always been a fan favorite simply because of his age, how long he has been around. I mean, he's been around for a long time. 11 years, almost. So, Mattel thankfully released a full team for him, which is cool. I like that. And let's see how everyone looks side by side. This is going to be an epic shot here. This is definitely going to be epic, guys. Alright. We're going to put you there. We're going to put you there. Let's focus on you. You can be in the background, Smiley. Put some things up there. We got some tires. We got some pitties, the forklift guys. And we got you. And we got you. Oh, that's an epic shot. What do you guys think? That is pretty awesome. That kind of just made the video right there. So that is awesome. Thank you guys again for watching. Feel free to vote if you're interested in that kind of stuff. I will see you guys next time for another video. By the way, if you think my voice sounds a little weird, you are right. I am sick. A little bit. Again, yeah. So, it stinks. But I think I'll be alright. I think I'll survive. So I'll see you guys for the next video. Bye now.